right, welcome everyone to this complete explainer breakdown of a truly historic World Cup match. We're looking at a game where, honestly, football kind of took a back seat, and nature itself decided to play a leading role, completely shifting the entire atmosphere of the tournament. We've got a sensational performance by France securing a 3-0 victory over Iraq, a monumental milestone for Kylian Mbappé, and an absolutely unforgettable intervention by Mother Nature in Philadelphia.
I mean, a 2-hour and 10-minute halftime, that is literally unprecedented. This wasn't some tactical delay. We're talking about a massive storm in Philadelphia that completely changed World Cup history. By the time the players finally came back out, the energy, the pitch, the momentum, the whole shebang was entirely different. So let's break down exactly how this wild night unfolded.
Act 1. A stormy start. Okay, let's dive into this by setting the stage for what really felt like an inevitable French dominance right from the opening whistle. France entered this match as an absolute powerhouse. They were the 2018 World Cup champions, the 2022 runners-up, and stepped into this tournament as co-favorites alongside Spain. Plus, they were riding high after a 3-1 win over Senegal. Meanwhile, Iraq was coming off a really tough 4-1 loss to Norway. And to make matters worse, they had suffered a major blow when their striker, Ayman Hussein, had to be subbed out early with an injury in their previous match. It was a massive mismatch on paper. And honestly, France's quality was evident from the very first minute.
Yeah, it really didn't take long for the co-favorites to strike. In just the 14th minute, France's fluid movement between the lines continuously stretched the Iraqi defense until it simply snapped. Kylian Mbappé found his opening and belted home a gorgeous, rasping strike from 22 yards out. It was the absolute perfect tone setter, giving them a 1-0 lead. But just as France was really finding their rhythm, the skies over Philadelphia began to darken.
Act 2. The 2-hour weather delay.
Let's move to this timeline and see how this builds, because things suddenly got a bit eerie and truly awe-inspiring. A severe thunderstorm was moving right through the Philadelphia area, bringing this highly anticipated match to an incredibly abrupt halt. Right around the 40th minute, heavy rain started pouring down. But when the halftime whistle blew, players went into the tunnel and they just didn't come back out. What should have been your standard 15-minute break stretched on and on due to severe lightning concerns. Scoreboards literally started flashing messages directing the crowd to take shelter. It became the first ever weather-related delay in World Cup history, taking a staggering 2 hours and 10 minutes before the match finally restarted. Now, while fans were scrambling for cover from the torrential rain and lightning, the scene inside the French dressing room was completely surreal. French coach Didier Deschamps later noted, "In the dressing room during the break, we played cards." It's such a fascinating contrast, isn't it? Outside, absolute chaos. Inside, the tournament co-favorites are just casually playing a hand of cards, staying completely cool and collected. And Mbappé himself made a pretty amusing observation about the whole ordeal. The grounds crew had to squeegee immense amounts of water off the swampy Kentucky bluegrass pitch at Lincoln Financial Field. Mbappé was actually seen out there directing the ground stuff. He later joked that they spent 20 frantic minutes completely clearing the waterlogged side of the pitch where France had to defend, but practically ignored the side where France was attacking. You know, for the overseas spectators visiting Philadelphia, they got a very authentic, perhaps overly authentic, American sports experience. As some journalists pointed out, fans received a triple dose of classic American stadium nuisances: massive rain delays, overpriced concessions while they waited, and TV timeouts disguised as hydration breaks. Ironically enough, this exact same stadium saw the NFL's Philadelphia Eagles suffer a 65-minute lightning delay just the previous season. Act 3. Mbappé's historic century brace. So after 130 minutes of waiting, the teams finally emerged for the second half. But that massive delay took a severe psychological toll on Iraq. Coach Graham Arnold even mentioned it was the first time he'd ever experienced something like this, and it made the occasion so much harder for his players to maintain their focus. And France, they immediately capitalized on that mental fatigue. In the 54th minute, disaster struck for Iraq. Defender Zaid Tassin attempted a back pass to his goalkeeper, but he hit it way too hard and wide. It was a calamitous mistake. Ousmane Dembélé quickly pounced on the error and set up Mbappé for an incredibly simple tap-in finish. Just like that, 2-0 France. But that simple tap-in wasn't just any goal. It marked Kylian Mbappe's 100th international appearance for France. Scoring a brace on your centennial cap, that is an incredible milestone. To maintain that level of elite performance for 100 caps is just extraordinary, and the timing really couldn't have been more perfect. So the crucial point is 16. That tap-in was Mbappe's 16th career World Cup goal. With that strike, playing in just his third World Cup, the 27-year-old matched Germany's legendary Miroslav Klose for second place on the all-time World Cup goal-scoring list, and simultaneously moved one ahead of the Brazilian great Ronaldo.
And man, that sets up a thrilling dynamic. Mbappé is sitting right there at 16 World Cup goals, while right across from him is Lionel Messi with 18. Mbappé is now just 2 goals shy of tying Messi in the active all-time goal scorer race. With France securing their spot in the round of 32, this race is definitely far from over in this tournament. But the milestones didn't stop with Mbappé. In the 66th minute, we got perhaps the most emotional moment of the entire match. Michael Olise did brilliantly, turning and powering away from his defenders before slotting a perfect pass through to Ousmane Dembélé. Dembélé provided a composed finish to make it 3-0. And incredibly, despite all of his success, this was Ousmane Dembélé's first ever major tournament goal. After years of playing in World Cups and Euros and dealing with so many near misses on the biggest stages, he finally broke through.
You could really feel the relief and emotion in that achievement. Coach Didier Deschamps offered these reassuring words about Dembélé, saying, "Knowing him, he is very demanding with himself. I have no worries about him." It added such a beautiful layer of emotional weight to the match, seeing a highly decorated player finally get that specific monkey off his back.
Records and final standings.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how much history was packed into this one night. As the final whistle blew on that soggy pitch in Philadelphia, France walked away with a 3-0 victory. We saw Mbappé score a brace on his 100th cap. We saw him tie Klose with 16 World Cup goals. We witnessed the first ever World Cup weather delays stretching over 2 hours. We celebrated Dembélé's first major tournament goal. And, of course, France officially qualified for the round of 32 with a game to spare. It's rare you get an explainer this packed with broken records. So where does that leave us? Well, looking at the live Group I standings, both France and Norway sit at 2 wins and 0 losses. Both are officially qualified. But look at that goal difference. France is at +5, and Norway is breathing right down their necks at +4. This sets the stage perfectly for a massive blockbuster clash between France and Norway in their final group match to decide who takes the top spot.
So, I want to leave you with this final question to ponder. What was the most unforgettable moment of this wild match for you? Was it Mbappé's beautiful 14th-minute opening strike, the eerie, unprecedented 2-hour storm delay, or witnessing history with Mbappé's 100th cap brace? Let me know what you think, and be sure to join us for our next explainer, where we'll be breaking down Norway's nerve-shredding 3-2 victory over Senegal. You absolutely won't want to miss it. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.